I've questioned myself on if I gave up on my marriage too soon. So basically, I've come to some type of, um, I guess, rationale about it. And as I've previously mentioned, I did ask God, I questioned myself, like, what did I do wrong in this marriage? What's the lesson? What do I need to learn? Because I again am going forward in other relationships, and eventually to my forever husband. I want to do things right, and I know that there's not going to be a perfect relationship. Sometimes people get caught up. They may meet up with someone, an old classmate, go have drinks, don't hear the phone, don't answer the phone, and there is not that they're meaning not to communicate. They're just caught up in something that was just a random act of events. That's something that, of course, your mate is going to be upset about and concerned about, but they will understand. You can explain that and, apologize for it, and, it doesn't happen again. The issue that I'm having is the deliberate, m m just deceitful lies, misleading information, false tales, just the whole deliberate act, intentional deceit. That's where I'm coming into, like, was I rational, or am I giving up too soon, or what is this? Because honestly, if my spouse had a diagnosed mental illness, of course it's going to be concerning for me. But, this is just things that happen in people's lives. I would feel guilty if I were to leave my spouse under those circumstances. Not saying that I would, but that would be something guilt wrenching for me. If for some reason my spouse, for whatever reason, had to be bedridden or in a wheelchair, that's not grounds for divorce. You know what I'm saying? That's not a reason to divorce someone. This is just, this is the for better or worse, sickness and in health. As far as better or worse is, if my spouse lost their job, you don't just divorce because they lose their job, that's the better or for worse. So this is the situation that I am um coming to terms with. The That's what was bothering me as far as when I was contemplating, did I give up too soon? And in hindsight, at this date of April 26, 2024, it's like I would probably still be in this house with him had he not walked out. He walked out and left me. So my response to that may not have been idea, but he left a marriage and I let him go. That's just that situation. But as far as my response to his behavior, wasn't always, I wasn't the nicest. I wasn't respectful. However, I was reacting to abuse that I was experiencing. Not to say that that's an excuse, but I didn't handle everything as quietly and gently as I could have. But what I was facing was just not even a contemplatable type of thing that you would expect to encounter. You're prepared for a misunderstanding, and you can understand that better. But when someone has a pattern, a habit, they're a habitual liar, deceitful, that takes a toll on responses. I've given many chances, lots of years, and the behavior continued because that's the character of the person. So in hindsight, when I look back at it, did I give up too soon? Did I give up? I don't think so, because I wasn't dealing with normal disagreements, tone issues, um, a lapse of judgment for a one-time thing. I was dealing with manipulation, betrayal, deceitful, intentional acts, and that is where I can say, "Hey, I did the best I could. I gave it my best. I tried. I really tried in this relationship. This is not on me. I'm definitely going to learn some things from this relationship. However, this is not on me. I did all that I could do with the circumstances that I was given and dealing with. And with that, I have no guilt. And I've said it multiple times. I do not feel guilty about how I showed up in this relationship because I was fair, loyal, honest, forgiving, gave grace, gave chances, gave opportunities for um, behavior correction, and there was just no budge, no movement on the other side. And if it was any type of change of behavior, it was very um, temporary and seemingly for manipulation or gain. It wasn't, I'm changing because I know that I've behaved wrong and this isn't conducive to the marriage. It's more, oh, she doesn't like this. Well, I'm going to start doing this or whatever. I'm going to pretend to do this so that she can do what I want her to do, which is not quite it. You're not changing because you want to change because you recognize your behavior and how it's affecting a marriage, or because you recognize your behavior for whatever in your past that has nothing to do with me, that's coming out in how you show up as an adult. You're just doing something to get something or doing something to shut me up, but it's not something that's lasting. It's not a real behavior correction. It's just a temporary, I'm going to pretend to be this way for a little while. And then you just go back to the old habits and the old behaviors, the same behaviors, and you don't grow, you don't change, and you don't seemingly learn from any mistakes, and you're not taking accountability for your actions, and you're just passing blame on to my reaction to your behavior opposed to your behavior that is basically in essence causing the reaction.